Market rallied into CRM earnings. CRM beat earnings. What are you gonna do? We're in puts. We got into we got into SPY puts expiring in like 3 weeks at around 602.50. It's at 604. Obviously, we're gapping up in the after hours. Let's see how that turns out. But yeah, let's just get right into it. We're gonna talk about the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, all of the large tech stocks, how much more room they have to go to the upside. We're going to talk about how Meta is just skyrocketing. And specifically tomorrow, we're going to take a look at the news. All right. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And let's get started. All right. So number one, tomorrow morning, we've got very important news coming out at 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. This morning's price action, guys, I cannot stress how annoying and slow and just garbage this price action was this morning. Barely any trades. It was stagnant for maybe 45 minutes. Then we get a big move to the upside. More stagnation. Just terrible. Terrible price action. Hopefully tomorrow is not a repeat. But yeah, we're going to have to see how that turns out. Then we have Fed Powell speaking at 1:45. My thought process is post his speaking, eventually we should get a pullback to around 600 on the S&P. That'd be great. But, there's no guarantee. But I was essentially thinking that by Thursday's close, we would get a pullback in the market. Let's see how that turns out for our short-term swing puts. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but it is what it is. Let's see how that turns out. So now taking a look at the futures. Obviously, we closed at an all-time high on the S&P. On the NASDAQ, we also are churning up. Things are being very, very bullish. And this is primarily because the shuffle in tech stocks. Tech stocks, the losers, are getting love, while the winners are getting essentially sold off a bit. But what's crazy about this is that the winners are still winning. Generally, that's what ends up happening. The winners get a dip, and the losers get a push upwards. But in this case, everything is just continuing to rise. We have Apple, Netflix. Let's just take a look at the charts. Apple, new highs, continuing to just close on the highs, just absolutely demolishing bears. Honestly, this is very, very strong. And this is now we're nearing the place where I would say we should get a pullback. So I was saying in yesterday's video, we should be getting a bit of a pullback around 243, 244. It's not guaranteed. Obviously, this is not like the most bearish candle. Obviously, this is a very, very strong candle. We close on the highs. But these moves are not sustainable. And if you think that they are, you have not really traded long enough. Obviously, it's also a testament to this, just the buying pressure that we see due to the holiday season. But we do have a fib extension upward target of 247.40. This could end up being an upward target, of course. Meta is continuing to make new highs. It is ripping to the upside. You could see a nice clear-cut bull flag break of this trend line, and now we're just breaking upwards. Upward target on this is the next fib extension here, the 4236 fib extension at 630.98. 630.98 looks like it can easily touch. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Meta at $1,000 by the end of 2025. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Especially, you know what I really messed up on? What I did not take into consideration. If they're trying to ban TikTok, Meta, Google, these primarily Meta, because it is a social media platform, is going to get a lot of love. And that, I think, is another reason why Meta is going to do so well and why it's currently doing really, really well, especially because Mark Zuckerberg and Trump now have a better relationship. So that is really, really interesting, and that's something that I just now took into account, unfortunately. But it's gonna be interesting. I think we might have to go long Meta, long term, if that is going to be the case. All right, so Meta is doing really, really well. Tesla, we're seeing some just stagnation here at the top. Obviously, we had a big move to the upside. Tesla is one of the winners. This is not an automatic bearish opportunity. Amazon is continuing to chug upwards. Closed above the 786% fib. Amazon is doing very well. Microsoft, let's take a look at Microsoft now. Microsoft is also continuing to do well. And Google is a bit more stagnant. One of the losers, not as much buying pressure in Google as there is in the other large tech stocks that are getting a lot of love. It is what it is. But now, last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at the chips. So NVIDIA is still remaining below this downtrend line. And purely because there is, from a technical standpoint, one of the other issues that may occur with our swing puts is that there is just so much more room to the upside on these really amazing, essentially, tech stocks. There's still more room to the upside on NVIDIA. If NVIDIA goes to 143, 144, if AMD starts to bounce and it continues to bounce and hold upwards, the rest of the market should also be continuing to move upwards. So that is one of the issues. And we're going to need to see if a move downward occurs. But pragmatically speaking, AMD is holding above this trend line. We're going to need to see if it comes back down to around the 140 level and then rips above afterward. That's yet to be seen. But with that being said, back to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is showing strength. It is closing above the 38.2% fib. It looks like it wants to close above this uptrend line. The uptrend line for tomorrow is going to be around 140, 120, and this has been something that we've been monitoring for a while now. And we're going to need to see if this is just going to continue to rise or likely into the end of the year. This should, I would be surprised if we don't see a bounce back to around 143, 144. But all eyes are going to be on, we also didn't look at Netflix. Netflix is also doing very, very strong. But all eyes are going to be on these stocks like Netflix, Apple, Amazon. And based off of that, we're going to need to see if NVIDIA, AMD can start to bounce. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out into the end of the year. So hopefully tomorrow we get better trading conditions as well. Hopefully we're able to take multiple great setups, etc. But, for now, we have to be patient and not force anything. Not every day is going to be a day where you get to take 10 solid day trades all throughout the day. With that being said, so far, so good. GME, I guess we could also take a look at GME. GME, this is ideally what I would want out of GME. There needs to be more weakness, and retail needs to have a tougher time. I don't think that the move in GME is going to occur until January of 2025. January, February. So these next few weeks needs to be very, very difficult. And I would love to grab more GME around $23, $24 for 2027. That's personally what I'm looking at. And, yeah, I would love that. So for now, let's go ahead and also take a look at the Russell. The Russell is a bit more weak than the others. Obviously, tech stocks have been rallying, but I do think the Russell into December and January outperforms tech. Let's see how that turns out. But so far, this is my thought process. We should be getting some sort of a pullback. So unless we get stopped out tomorrow, we should be getting some sort of a pullback in the market on Thursday. Whether we're right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. I'm primarily doing that purely because of just the exhaustion that I feel in the smaller time frames. So that could be wrong. Generally, it isn't always. I have a pretty high success rate in terms of this stuff, but of course you could be wrong, and that's when we need to understand to just stop out of a trade. And that is what it is. But yeah, pretty amazing stuff that we're seeing so far. Apple just continuing to churn upwards. And one of the crazy things about Apple, before I end the video, is in terms of the Bollinger Band. So you guys know what I like. I love to watch the Bollinger Bands, right? Apple is not even opening outside of the upper level of the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands are so straight vertical that we are continuing to open within the Bollinger Bands. Within the Bollinger Bands for the past 2 days, and we close outside. And then the next day, this was yesterday, and then today we opened within and we ripped to the upside again. So we're technically not even overextended according to the Bollinger Bands. You only become overextended according to the Bollinger Bands when you have an open and a close outside of the Bollinger Bands for at least 2 days. That hasn't even happened yet. For that reason, it could be like a straight shot to 247, but it just does not feel like the right time to be long. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. We could just continue rallying, but that is my thought process, and yeah, I like it. If there's ever going to be a time to try, it would be off of these setups here, and it is what it is. Yeah, I got a few stitches on my thumb. I ripped open my thumb, actually, and I was trying to open up a box. Ripped it open. So that is currently what's going on as well. And, yeah. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a good, wonderful rest of your night as well. Please make sure, keep me in your prayers. Keep me and my family in your prayers and everything. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning in the voice chat as well. All right. Love you guys. Have a good one.